here's today's project. This is a walnut drop leaf table. It came with 2 chairs. It's made by Hitchcock out of Connecticut, which is a pretty high-end furniture manufacturer. They always sign their chairs in the back. And if I can get a shot of that for you right there. L. Hitchcock, Hitchcocksville, Connecticut, warranted is what it says. I picked this set up a little while ago. It has some damage. The lady bought it in the early 1970s, but she had a puppy, and the puppy did a little chewing. Now, one of the things with Hitchcock is this hand stenciling, which is underneath the lacquer coat, and I have to preserve this, as well as this little black line. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge. So what I'm going to do today is try to get this top done, and depending on how it comes out, that'll help me decide how I'm going to do the chairs, because the chairs are also puppy chewed. If you look at it, and I don't know how you can see in the raking light, you can see that there's some wear to the lacquer finish. It's not too bad. A little water stain right there and a big scratch here. But again, I can't strip it off, because if I strip it off, I'm going to lose this stenciling, and that's kind of what Hitchcock is all about. So my plan is, and by the way, I think this is probably cherry under the walnut stain. My plan is to repair this, fill it in with epoxy putty. I'm going to have to hand inlay, or not hand, by hand I'll repaint this black line. And then as far as the rest of the tabletop goes, I'm going to wet sand it so I don't go through too many coats of lacquer. Get as many of the scratches out as I can, but not get down to the color coat. And then just start laying on coats of satin lacquer. And hopefully we can get this tabletop. It won't be perfect, but it'll be a whole lot better than it is. And if this comes out good, and then we get the chairs nice and squared away with the puppy chews, this will be a real nice piece for somebody. The legs for the table are over here. They're just tapered solid wood legs, and they've got some dings and bangs on them as well. Some finish issues that I can take care of. The legs are no problem. The big challenge today is going to be this tabletop and preserving the stenciling. And we've got the area pretty well taped off now, and I've hit it with a little bit of epoxy putty. The stuff I use is here. It's just like a Tootsie Roll epoxy. Anytime you've got damage that's so shallow, getting the epoxy to adhere to the bottoms of the holes can be a bit of a challenge. But we've got a good start on this now. I'm going to let this sit up for 20 minutes or a half hour or so, and hit it with some 400 sandpaper and see what we look like. But we're on our way so far with this, so fingers crossed. And we're about to start wet sanding here. What I've chosen is some P500 wet and dry paper. I use a sanding block. I use normally soap and water as a lubricant, and also use mineral spirits. And I'll start working on the centerpiece here first and see if we can get rid of some of these marks and get it prepped for some lacquer. Okay, here's what I'm doing with the wet sanding. Got your sanding block here, and just following the grain, nice and lightly. Patience. We're about halfway through now. I've got the repairs done and the color taken care of. Here's that corner that was all chewed up. I think that came out okay. You can see I carried that line through there. I was really careful to stay away from the stenciling, and left a little bit of age-related issues here, so the corner didn't look completely rebuilt. A lot of that is intentional on my part, but I'm pretty happy with it. I did a lot of fill, either both burn-ins and hard fill on some of the dents and dings in the top. The wet sanding came out great. It took a bit of time, but we got the water spots out and a lot of a mess. And then the final thing I did after I added a bunch of color using pigments with 3 or 4 different application techniques is I laid on a coat of Van Dyke brown glaze. We have a really good base now for our lacquer top coat. So far so good. My memory card only has a gig of memory in it, so it's difficult for me to do too much video and step by step. But the next step here is going to be to shoot on a coat of satin lacquer, let that dry, and then we'll lay on coats of lacquer and polish, and I think this is going to be just beautiful when it's done, so I'm real hopeful. And here we are after 2 coats of satin lacquer. Here's the top, and it is looking very, very nice. The finish is really good. I'm going to rub it out, keep it a nice flat satin to go with the table, but I am just tickled pink. I mean, if you can remember, we had water spots and all sorts of things here. It's actually so shiny, and I'm having a tough time getting sunshine from the windows coming in. I'm at the point with the corner that I'm not even sure. I think it was this one. This is the corner that was rebuilt, best I can tell. That came out really good. So I'm happy with that. The other thing is the chairs were also redone. Basically what I did is I fixed the dog shoes with putty and then sanded them. The chairs wouldn't take any stain or dye, so I had to color them with toner. And then I did any touch-ups to the seats, and then I shot a coat of satin lacquer for top everything, and they look just wonderful. So it's about 2:45. I think we started at about 8:30 this morning, so that's not too many hours to turn a $50 garage sale find into what should be a $500 table at least, but God knows if we'll get it.